Deep in the heart of every American boy is the feeling that he needs a lot more time for play. But far greater still is his need for more and better places to play. For in most cities throughout the United States today, playgrounds are woefully lacking, and youngsters are forced to seek amusement in the city streets. In the smaller communities, although space is usually plentiful, it is seldom equipped for recreation, and children congregating in the roadways are constantly exposed to danger. In spite of careful driving, the inevitable happens. In a single year in the U.S., as many as 800 boys and girls have been killed, and more than 50,000 injured in street accidents. Even in localities where parks and playgrounds have been established, there are still far too few facilities to meet the demand, and players often find it necessary to waste many hours just waiting for their turn on the courts. But after a time, patience wears thin, and the young may soon settle for other places of amusement and other kinds of fun. On their own and away from all supervision, they may quickly acquire the free and easy habits which all too often lead to delinquency. Instead of the team spirit of the playing field, they may develop the marauding habits of the underworld. It is only a short step to outright crime. That thousands of teenage boys and girls run afoul of the law each year is conclusive evidence that the community recreational problem is still far from solved. Though recreation alone will not prevent delinquency, it does help to maintain the moral and physical health of the community. During World War II, some 3.5 million young men who might have been healthier and stronger had they been provided with adequate recreation areas in their childhood, were rejected as unfit for service in the armed forces. Even more disastrous than physical deterioration is the alarming increase in mental illness among all age groups. In the U.S. today, 1 person out of every 20 must undergo treatment in a mental institution, many of them at the taxpayer's expense. Today, public-spirited groups of every kind are zealously working to make up for the omissions of the past by promoting and even helping to finance more and better playgrounds. And throughout the country, progressive municipalities are coming to realize that recreation is an essential part of community life, ranking in importance with public health and education. Civic leaders and elected officials of cities and towns of every size are today reappraising the outdoor recreational needs of their people, and in many cases are taking the necessary action to meet them. But though some progress is being made, the job ahead is still a big one. Of the more than 16,000 U.S. municipalities, only a scant 2,500 have organized recreation services. And though playgrounds require trained leaders, just as schools need qualified teachers, only 1/8 of the nation's recreational workers are employed full-time the year round. It is the recreation workers' job to teach youngsters how to play according to the rules of the game and to encourage them in the ways of good sportsmanship. The chance to play is essential to the well-being of all, regardless of age. For most people, young or old, no form of recreation has greater appeal than a relaxing swim on a summer afternoon. And today they are able to enjoy the luxury of modern, up-to-date pools if they are fortunate enough to live in a progressive community. But the facilities of the community play areas must be diversified to accommodate the preferences of all, and they must be made available at the least possible cost. If the place and the equipment for play are conveniently at hand, even the less popular sports will attract people who never before thought of taking part in them. Recreation is particularly important to the old, for whom inactivity can well mean a drab and lonely existence. Today, thanks to the advancements of medical science, men and women in the autumn of life enjoy better health and can expect to live longer than those of past generations. With more than 11% of the U.S. population already over 60 years of age, progressive community planners are becoming increasingly aware of the special recreational needs of the aging. Growing at a rate greater than that for any other age group are recreational opportunities enabling grandma and grandpa to have a good time, while keeping themselves physically fit and mentally alert. Critical though the recreational problem is for all other groups among the U.S. population, it is particularly acute for the great mass of people who cannot play during the daytime, the nation's many millions of working men and women. For very few job holders are able to take advantage of the facilities which most recreation centers offer. Although many courts and playing fields may be available, they are too often used for only part of the day and are closed as evening approaches. After nightfall, the community recreational problem becomes more acute. Deprived of playgrounds that can give them wholesome amusement, teenagers inevitably find that they have nothing better to do than to pass their evenings loafing on the street corners. And sooner or later in their search for diversion, they are likely to drift into the same pattern of nighttime existence as that followed by so many of the older members of the community. For the lack of suitable outdoor recreation areas affects everyone, regardless of age. Recognizing the urgent need for adequate day and night recreational facilities, alert civic leaders are working toward a solution to their problem. And although such leaders all approve of a progressive program in principle, there are many considerations involved.
Architects have completed plans for Memorial Park and have submitted this model for our approval. In designing it, they've had the advice of recreation experts and of the equipment manufacturers. As you can see, it provides facilities for many different kinds of sports, daytime and nighttime as well. There are courts for tennis, a swimming pool, and a...
It looks fine, Steve, but you know good and well that a Recreation center like that will cost us more than this town can afford.
No, George, you're wrong. In terms of community living alone, this park will be worth many times our investment in it. Of course, in dollars and cents, it's a sound proposition, too. By charging admission and rental fees on certain occasions, we can help meet the operating costs of the park. We don't have to build it all at once. Just part of it now and part of it later on, and gradually we'll get it all. In the meantime, the park will help to increase the value of the neighboring real estate.
What's the need for all this floodlighting, Steve?
Well, Paul, you've got to remember that nighttime is the only time during the week that many folks can play. Studies made in 12 communities, about the same size as ours, show that courts and ball fields get at least 25% more use with floodlighting installed.
Through floodlighting, nighttime recreation is made possible, not only for those who like to participate in sports, but also for those who like to watch. A fact which big league baseball clubs like the Brooklyn Dodgers have long recognized profitably. Today, more than 1/3 of the major league games throughout the country are played at night, under lights, accounting for almost 40% of the more than 20 million tickets sold each year. But far more important than gate receipts are the dividends outdoor recreation pays in health, happiness, and increased efficiency. Many large industrial companies realize that no matter what his job, the American worker who has a chance to play in his off hours will invariably do a better job. Progressive companies today not only encourage their employees to take part in recreational activities, but often cooperate in providing and maintaining floodlighted playing fields for their use. Several nights each week, the employees turn out to watch games involving company teams, and the building of team spirit inevitably helps to develop a better company spirit. In some sections of the country, where summer temperatures soar to unbearable heights during the day, nighttime is playtime. Playing facilities of all kinds, though virtually deserted during the heat of the day, receive maximum use at night. Today, despite the acknowledged role of recreation in building health, and despite the fact that most people can play only in the evening after work, less than 18% of the nation's 50,000 outdoor municipal facilities are illuminated for nighttime use. Though such public facilities are greatly needed for each age group, there is a particular need for centers which can be enjoyed by all ages at all hours. In the larger cities, where space is at a premium, one solution to this problem lies in the multiple-use outdoor play area. Wherever facilities of this kind have been established, they have helped to prevent juvenile delinquency. And the same hard surface area that is floodlighted for nighttime recreation is also marked off for many different types of daytime games. In autumn, winter, and early spring, when the days are short and the hours of darkness long, floodlighting assumes an indispensable role in the enjoyment of outdoor sports. In recent years, spectator sports events have been held more and more during the evening hours. For most people find that it is already dark when their day's work is done, and that of the 40 hours they have available for recreation throughout the week, more than half are in the evening. For the entire community, recreation is a year-round necessity, fully as important in winter as in the milder seasons of the year. No matter how crisp the weather, invigorating fun in the great outdoors contributes greatly to healthy, happy living. In winter, more than in any other season, children find that after school, there is very little daytime left for play in the open air. Recreation can serve no better purpose in the life of the community than in helping to keep the American family together as a unit. After going their separate ways during the day, father, mother, and children can share their evenings together in healthful outdoor play. And for Dad especially, nighttime recreation provides a welcome opportunity for comradeship with his children. But very few families are fortunate enough to have within easy reach of home the outdoor sports centers they need to enable all members of the household to get out together. For even in the most progressive communities, there are still not enough nighttime recreational facilities available. Today, Americans of every age are in need of more and better places to play. Greater opportunities for enjoying recreation out of doors day and night, season after season. And it is up to America's citizens to take the action necessary for sweeping improvement on the recreational front, to decide whether the youth of the nation will go astray or grow up in wholesome surroundings, whether the aging will wither away or enjoy to the full their remaining years, whether children will live dangerously in the street or safely on the playground, whether the members of the family will be forced to seek amusement individually or have a chance to play together. The problem of recreation in America must be solved not by any single group alone, but through active participation of every citizen in the land.
Wanted for murder. 6 beliefs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These public enemies are not men. They are ideas and beliefs. Murderous beliefs which can lead to tragedy. These beliefs kill more than 80,000 people each year, enough to fill a huge college football stadium. Every year, there are millions of people badly hurt, many of them crippled. One of these beliefs may be about to murder you, so look closely. Do you believe safety is for sissies?
I saw you stretched out down there on the field after that pile-up. I thought you were hurt real bad.
Yeah, could have been worse, though.
You were pretty lucky.
I guess so.
Yeah. Well, we'll see you later on. See you
Oh,
next
fun,
week.
see you.
Hi there, Jim. How's the shoulder?
Pretty good, thanks.
Well, tough luck, but Coach tells me you didn't want to take time to get a new pair of shoulder pads when yours broke. How come?
We were just starting to go, and I didn't want to take time out just to play safe.
Well, safety is a pretty important thing, too, Jim.
Maybe, but I didn't want the other fellas to think I'm a sissy.
Well, you proved your point. But I wonder if the price you paid was worth it. By the way, we're having a meeting of the Aviation Club this afternoon, having a test pilot come out to give us a talk. Are you going to be there?
Sure will.
I think you'll find it enlightening.
Well, that's about all there is to it. Any questions?
Isn't it terribly dangerous?
Well, it does have its moments. But every precaution is taken to see that the aircraft is fit, and the pilots always try and meet any emergency that may come up.
Test pilots don't wear parachutes, do they?
We certainly do. One in front and one in back.
But, well...
Yes?
Well, I thought you guys were supposed to be really brave and...
Whoa there, young fella. Now remember one thing. There's a big difference between bravery and foolhardiness. Sure, I'd rather not be all rigged up in bulky chutes, but I'll wear or use anything that'll make my job safer. And that goes for all pilots. We're not cowards, but we're not fools either. We've got a dangerous job to do, and the safer we play it, the better we can do it.
Don't be foolish. Safety is for everybody. Stop being a victim of this belief that safety is for sissies. It's a murderous belief. This belief can kill too. Do you believe accidents happen only when your number is up? That things are determined by fate, or just because that's the way the ball bounces? One of these girls is guilty of this murderous belief.
Judy, this is just what I've been looking for, except in pale blue. If they have it in the right color, I think I'll try it on. Maybe we'd better wait until some other time. It's getting late and driving home in rush hour is no fun. Dangerous, too. Oh, don't be silly. We'll be all right. If your number's up, you'll get hit. And if it isn't, you won't. Look, isn't that Bob Prentice across the street? Oh, yes, it is. Maybe he wants a ride home. I'll go ask.
Sue's foolish belief in fate cost her her life. She didn't get killed because her number was up. Her murderous belief killed her. Here's another murderous belief. Do you believe accidents happen because of a law of averages? Do you believe that a mathematical chance is more important than what you do and actually determines whether or not you have an accident?
Looks interesting, Dad. What's it going to be?
Well, these are the leg pieces for that lawn chair in the do-it-yourself book out there, Billy. They've all got to be the same size, so we'll line them up and saw them off together.
Can I try it?
Oh, no. We'll give you some experience with hand tools first, then you can try the power tools.
I'll be careful.
Yeah, I know. That's what all the guys say. Most of them get hurt trying to do it themselves before they know how.
I just saw some figures on that in my math class. Do you know that only 2% of all the people in the country get hurt in accidents? The law of averages is with me. I won't get hurt. Let me try it.
No, not this time, Billy. There. Now we're all set.
Hey, where's the guard?
Oh, we don't need it for this, Bill. That law of averages you talked about will take care of me.
Look out, Dad.
There's your law of averages for you.
This belief doesn't take care of anything or anyone. Many who believe in the law of averages pay the price through carelessness. Bill's carelessness cost him just a hurt hand this time. But faith in the law of averages can be murder. Put it out of your mind. This belief can lead to murder too. Today, more and more people try to use the price of progress as an excuse for their own laziness and carelessness. For this reason, it's wanted for murder. Do you believe accidents are part of the price of progress?
There you are, Mom. All set. Now you won't have to go over to the table to turn the radio off and on. This remote control switch will let you do it right from the sink.
Say, that looks pretty good, son. You sure it'll work?
Yes, sir. I just took the wires, bypassed the switch in the radio, and hooked them into this switch. Made it myself.
Well, it's wonderful to have an electrician in the house to keep us up on the latest scientific advancements. Let's see how your little gadget works.
Are you all right, dear?
Yes, I guess so. But it was quite a shock.
Gee, I'm awfully sorry, Mom. I should have made sure everything was properly insulated and grounded. I guess that's the price of progress sometimes.
Nonsense. If you had been careful and done the job right in the first place, this wouldn't have happened. Why, your mother might have been seriously hurt. And the price of progress is no excuse.
Right. Don't blame your carelessness on the price of progress. Progress has cut down the death rate in tuberculosis and is on the way to the conquest of cancer. Progress has given you all that you see around you in the way of comforts and entertainment. The same attention to safety that we give to progress will give us more progress with more safety. Don't blame accidents on progress when the real blame lies with you and your beliefs. And put this belief out of your mind, too. Accidents don't always happen to the other fellow. Do you believe they do?
I just had a big lunch about an hour ago. This sure tastes good.
I ate a big lunch, too. But I can always force down something good. Mom says she doesn't know how I do it. Come on. Let's go try those dives we've been practicing.
Not me. I'm too full. And you'd better wait a while, too. It's not good to go in the water so soon after eating. Might get a cramp.
Oh, I've done it lots of times, and I never had a cramp. Besides, I've never even known anyone who had. That's something that always happens to someone else, not to me.
Marilyn was lucky. She knows someone now who's had a cramp while swimming, and all she paid for the knowledge was a little pain and embarrassment. Had she learned her lesson while swimming at the lake, the tuition might have been much, much higher. The other fellow can be you. Stop this belief on sight and put it out of your mind. It can be a killer. Do you think you're lucky, like this driver? Did you see him breeze through the four-way stop at that intersection? If that other car hadn't stopped, the driver's luck would end right there. Smart passenger. He's getting out.
I'm through right here, Harry. What are you scared of, Johnny? You're driving. That's what I'm scared of. Didn't you see that stop sign back there? Sure, I saw it, but the other car was stopped. So why should I? Well, suppose somebody came along that figured the same way. He could have plowed right into you. Not me, Johnny. I'm lucky. I'm not. I'll walk and be sure I get where I'm going. No more racing trains to crossings or going through stop signs for me.
Johnny's words aren't making any impression on Harry. Look at the needle climb up that speedometer dial. Uh-oh, there's a dangerous curve warning up ahead. Look out, Harry. That curve's sharper than you think. Lucky is another name for foolishness. Anytime you believe you feel lucky, look out for murder. It can happen to you, unless you take these 6 beliefs and throw them out of your mind and out of your life. Wanted for murder. 6 beliefs. The belief that safety is for sissies. That no matter what you do, your number will come up. The belief that you're protected by some dream called the law of averages. The belief that accidents are the price of progress. the belief that accidents only happen to the other fellow, and the belief that an accident can't happen to you because you're lucky. What can these 6 murderous beliefs promise you except a moment of carelessness followed by tragedy or death? Blot them out of your sight and out of your mind. You'll live longer.
Youth of America, the finest physically and mentally in the entire world. Opportunity is offered them today as never before in the history of mankind. Opportunity for the fulfillment of hopes, dreams, ambitions. And with the vastness of opportunity offered, what are the ambitions of the youth of America? What of Bill, whose main interest is mechanical drawing? What's your ambition, young fellow?
I'm going to be a construction engineer. Build great modern skyscrapers, design factories, plan complete new communities.
Skyscrapers, factories, cities. An engineer. An engineer must have good eyesight, a steady hand, steady nerves. He must have the mental creativeness that emanates from physical well-being. And physical well-being, Bill, is attained only through good living habits. And what of you, Betty? What's your ambition?
I want to be a famous musician, give concerts and work in radio and television.
A musician, an actress, anyone in the public eye must have fine appearance in addition to talent. And beauty and excellent appearance result from good health, Betty, good nutrition. Plenty of sleep and exercise are basic to health. Today, John works industriously in his school shop class. Anyone who flies or works with planes must have excellent physical and mental coordination, John. Coordination comes from practice and training of a healthy body and mind. Grace works diligently in her chemistry laboratory, and for a particular reason. She's going to be a nurse. A modern Florence Nightingale. She already knows that scientific knowledge of foods, proper diet, is the very foundation of buoyant health. And Fred, his major interest is botany, studying the science of plant life. For Fred loves the great outdoors, and he knows that just as trees and flowers need sunlight and proper nourishment, so also do human beings require good nutrition for good health. And what of Mary's ambition as she learns to plan and prepare meals in her home economics class? Good preparation for a future homemaker. First, a taste of business life, a small but vital part of the pulse beat of the world of industry and commerce. Then her own home and family, a successful wife and mother rearing strong, healthy children. Training them as she was trained in the basic fact that good food today means a successful tomorrow. And tomorrow, in millions of homes, life begins with the alarm clock. And in this home, after plenty of sleep and fresh air, John is assured of good future hours of the day. Looks like he's going to get some exercise, too. And there's something else waiting to help start the day. Yes, life really begins with breakfast. But regardless of how good the all-important morning meal, it can't possibly supply all the nutriment required for an entire day. Now, just what do we mean by good food? Food that tastes good, of course. And, much more important, food that's good for us. Certain foods are essential. We must have them daily, for the sake of health. Someone must have an appetite. But don't worry, this collection of food is not for a single meal. It represents the groups of foods that are needed for the whole day. Meat, cheese, fish, poultry. Vegetables, green and yellow. Fruits, 2 or more servings daily. At least 1 raw, citrus fruit or tomato often. And eggs, 3 to 5 a week, but 1 a day preferred. Cereal and bread, rich golden butter. And milk to drink, combined with other foods, in ice cream and in cheese. But at least 1 quart of milk a day, every day. For fast-growing young people, more than a quart. For adults, at least a pint. Yes, sir, this is really a day's good eating. And I mean good eating, for it's important that we enjoy our meals. Eating should be fun. Part of the enjoyment can come from having these foods prepared in our favorite ways and grouped in meals as we like them best. The essential thing is to include all the nutrients needed daily by choosing from these types of foods. Let's have a quick look at 3 typical meals. Breakfast for the average person. First, an orange. That checks off your citrus fruit. Then an egg and 2 slices of piping hot toast. If you're an adult, you may want a cup of coffee. And lunch for Mr. Average Citizen. A bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich with crisp coleslaw and a juicy baked apple for dessert. All good foods to help meet daily requirements. Then dinner. Steak, baked potato, green peas, a lettuce salad with a tasty dressing, and a fresh homemade roll. Still more foods that taste good and are good for you. Surely these 3 meals fill all nutritional requirements. Or do they? Let's check them against this chart. The bars represent the different food factors, such as vitamins and minerals, in the amounts needed by a person for a day. Let's see how the 3 meals rate. Each bar would be orange all the way across if the meals were complete. Obviously, something's missing. Let's try adding some dairy products. Some butter for that toast. And how about some butter for that sandwich? Now some cheese. The baked potato calls for butter, and so do the peas in the roll. Let's choose ice cream for the dinner dessert. And of course, a glass of milk with every meal. Now what does the chart show? What a difference! By including enough milk and milk products in each meal, we reach the goal. 100% of each of the food factors needed for health. Might try checking up on your own meals. So, whenever you eat, wherever you eat, whether it be one of the 3 regular meals, such as a well-balanced school lunch, or a quick pickup like this happy lad is enjoying, or perhaps an enticing homemade milkshake and a toasted cheese sandwich on an after-a-date raid of the icebox. Whenever you eat, eat smartly. Young people need plenty of food, the right kinds of food. For good food means good health, for zest in working, for spirit in playing, for ability to accomplish your aims and ambitions, for the manifestation of your hopes and dreams and desires. Good food today and every day is tomorrow's harvest, a harvest of energy and accomplishment, a harvest of health, happiness, and zestful living.
I'm telling you, the vice principal had a list that long. Flunking, lying, fighting, wrecking school You can wait until I've finished. Now, the next time the vice principal calls about that one, you'll have to go. After all, he's your son, not mine. The least you can do is
Pop, can I speak to you alone for a moment?
Don't interrupt. You're in enough trouble as it is. It's your mother's fault he's no good. Letting him run wild, never caring what he was doing while he was living with her.
She did a pretty good job raising me.
So it's my fault. Well, our son turned out all right. How do you explain that?
It's hard to grow up. If a teenager has extra problems, emotional or social, it's even harder. Kids like this, not wanted by any other group or anyone else much, tend to hang out together. Kids like Joe Martin, he's hardly ever seen his mother sober. Or Fred Hammer, his father's in prison. Mike Kelly, he has to show off all the time, try to get attention. His parents are dead. He lives with his older sister. To her, he's just another mouth to feed in her large family. Harry Jackson gets too much spending money from his people. Money, never any of their time. And Jerry Phillips, rejected by his stepmother, let down by his father. He's the loneliest of the lot.
Now, cut it out, you kids. Cut it out!
Rowdy kids, troubled kids headed for trouble. Still a couple of years from real crime, but with destruction and violence their only outlet, they're on their way to it. Unless their outlook can be changed. In our city, many men and women are dedicated to changing that outlook. Some give their time and their money to support the work of many organizations and their skilled professional workers. Like Bud Williams, group work specialist with years of intensive training and experience. The schools give him names of potentially delinquent boys. His job is to help these youngsters satisfy their teenage need to belong, to get rid of some of their resentment against the world and find their place in it. What do you do first? You get acquainted with them. That's no cinch. Often it takes a lot of time. A lot of stops at their hangout. These kids haven't had much reason to trust grown-ups. Maybe after weeks of trying, you finally make some progress. The kids show that they notice you. And they've got their own ways to let you know that.
Oh, gee, I'm sorry, mister. I really am.
Skip it. I've been around.
Hey, guys, he's been around. A newsreel. Tell us about it, newsreel.
Yeah, the eyes and ears of the world. Where you been?
Just around, with fellas like you.
With the badge, huh?
No, I sponsor a couple of clubs over at the Neighborhood Youth Service.
Oh, big deal.
Name's Bud Williams. You ever belong to a club?
Yeah. They kicked me out. So what?
Well, if you had a club of your own, no one could kick you out. That old wreck over there can take you places. Swimming, fights, ball games, hikes. And there's a clubhouse. Pool tables, records, ping pong.
Got change for a 20, mister?
Oh, me?
Boy, look at all that moolah.
Give me that.
Come on, let's
Money.
have a beer. Let's get a beer.
Give me
fun
that.
tonight.
Ready before I knock your block off.
Give me that.
Give me that
Let's get a
20.
beer tonight. Oh, let's get drunk. Hey.
Why don't you kids give that club idea a whirl?
I still say he's a juvie. Nah, he ain't no cop. Say, I heard about those clubs. Some guy told me they have a pretty good time at them sometimes.
Shut up.
Come on, I'm dying of thirst.
You discuss and evaluate the group with your supervisor. You take advantage of the experience of other group workers. You don't want to fail these kids. You've got to prove that you're one grown-up they can trust. That you mean it when you say to them, I like you, though I don't always like what you do. Get them to believe that, and maybe some of the anger will go out of them. The dangerous, seething hostility.
Hi, fellas. Candy bar, Joe.
Boy, something sure stinks around here.
Sure does stink. Must be that skunk again.
You guys like baseball? I've got tickets for Friday night.
Come on, man. Let's jump over to Gordon Street and start a fight.
Yeah, it's too hot to fight. I can pick you up after school. We can have hot dogs and stuff at the game.
Somebody fade me. I'm shooting a buck. They got a dime on it.
I got a quarter here.
There's 2 bits open.
I'll be around again.
Hey, you, Mike. Where's the dough for them potato chips?
Get lost, slob. I paid for him an hour ago.
I saw him.
You already paid for them. Stealing all the time. Shooting crap. Taking away all my good customers. All right, I'm going to call the police.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, go.
What'd I do?
We can work this out some
I'm
way.
sick and tired of this.
You get these kids on the books, they'll have a record for life.
All I want is a dime for them potato chips.
That's easy. Okay, Joe? Okay. I'll be seeing you, fellas.
Eventually, your patience pays off. They go with you to a playground. But they don't dare play baseball or anything else according to the rules. They have to clown around to cover up their fear of failure.
Think fast. You could make a girl stand with a skirt, couldn't
I suppose you think
That's
you're so
all right,
good.
if you don't like... Oh, you punk.
All right, ditch the knife, Jerry.
Try and take it.
What for? You'd only have a bigger one tomorrow.
You're chicken.
Yeah?
Cool it, man. Cool it. I still say you're chicken.
Look, the only way I want that knife is when you find out you don't need it.
You have to be careful how you handle this. You have to be honest and admit the kids did get out of line. But you try to work it so they can leave without losing face. The guys have been kicked out of playgrounds before, but they've never had an adult leave with them. You prove something. You're on their side. You're beginning to measure up in their eyes.
Man, we never even got to first base. Well, I guess we'll have to use the clubhouse for our next meeting. What meeting? The regular Friday meeting. Or if you guys got any better idea. Get this straight. I get in the front seat.
Get out of there!
They do keep that date the following Friday, and they give the clubhouse the once-over. At first, they're plenty wary, looking for a joker in the setup. If they like anything here, they'll never admit it. You know they might take a powder any second. And you wait, not pushing. And you know there's one thing here they might go for. You've started a club. In the months that follow, you get to know the boys pretty well. In many staff conferences, you work on their problems. And you're beginning to understand them better. In time, they give their club a name. A plenty sharp one, too. Giving it a name is a big step forward. Now they've accepted it. They're proud of it. They belong. But that doesn't mean that everything is sweetness and light.
What do you think you're doing? Hey, it's still my turn. I'm not taking the rap because you shoved my cue. You hit the cue ball, didn't you? You want to make something of it? All right, go ahead. Why don't you watch where you're going? Hey, cut it out. Drop dead. You gonna let Harry push you around like that? Oh, shut up. Oh, you're chicken. Just like your old man. Who says he's chicken? I do. I got it straight from my sis. Your sis? What does she know about it? She and your old lady's always jawing it up, ain't they? What does that prove? It proves that my sis is right. That your old man is chicken. That's a lie. Oh, yeah? Hit him, Mike. Come on, hit him. All right, take it easy. Oh, what a fight. Hit him again, Mike. Come on, knock him down again. Come on, hit him.
All right, easy, Jerry, relax. If we carve each other up, pretty soon there won't be any more Regals left. Who cares?
I swear you're getting to be more of a hoodlum every day. Just look at that shirt. Do you know how much money a shirt costs these days? This son of yours has been fighting again. Look at this shirt.
Can I tell you about it, Pop?
Look, he's proud of it.
Please, Pop.
Not now, Jerry. I'm tired. I had a
Mike
bad
Kelly
day.
said you didn't have the guts to stand up for yourself, so I took a poke at him. That was all right, wasn't
Poor
it?
Mike. You fought a boy who doesn't even have a father.
He didn't have any right to say that about you, did he, Pop?
Go to your room and get a decent shirt. This minute.
Did he, Pop? Did he?
Better put on a decent shirt, Jerry.
No father, no matter how much he wants peace in his family, can rest easily after getting a look like that from his son. He needs help. You listen. Your questions guide him. Having someone to talk to helps him to see his problem more clearly, to realize he must face up to it. Attendance at meetings has been pretty regular, and you've had the boys out in the station wagon on hikes and to the movies. But underneath it all, there's something more important. The kids are beginning to learn the feeling of friendship and trust toward each other and toward you, an adult. Sometimes the boys are able to talk out their anger and frustration instead of wrecking everything in sight. They take you into their plans that you're glad to listen to and go along with. They've finally gotten around to thinking of electing officers, such a customary procedure for a club. And that's what makes it important. It's customary.
Pop? Pop? They want me to run for Sergeant-at-Arms down at the Regals.
Good for you.
I've been thinking about that club of his.
I'll be late down at the plant.
And you think about it, too. He shouldn't be allowed to associate with that bunch of...
Not allowed? But you don't even know any of the guys.
See how he talks back to me? Those Regals were supposed to do him so much good, but it's perfectly obvious to me
We'll
that
have
they
to
haven't...
talk it over tonight.
Tonight? But, Pop, the election's today.
You heard what your father said? You stay away from that club until we make up our minds.
The knife. Always the knife. A poor substitute for understanding, for strength, for love.
All in favor of Mike Kelly for treasurer. Come on, you guys, that's me. Come on, Red, raise your hand. All in favor of Harry Jackson for treasurer. Hey, come on, man, that's me. Yeah, that takes care of it. You're in, kid. Well, let's a lousy frame up.
Hang with it, Mike.
You hang with it. Where you been, punk?
Just goofing off.
Yeah? Well, you almost missed voting for yourself, stupid. All right. All those in favor of Jerry Phillips for Sergeant-at-Arms. 1, 2, 3, 4, you're it. Hey, wait just a darn minute. His old lady's gonna yank him out of the club. She told my sis. She's also gonna send him away to live with his grandma.
That's a lie.
Oh, yeah? I suppose your old man's gonna stop her.
He will. I know it.
That's a laugh.
Hold it, Jerry.
Don't mess up.
Hold it, son.
Keep out of this.
Take it easy, son. Are you all right, son?
Wow, he was really gonna let me have it.
This is serious, fellas.
Yeah, let's do something.
Let's go find him.
Let's go.
Stop it! Harold! Harold, call the police! He's going to...
What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop it! Stop it! Jerry!
Son, where did you get that?
That's Jerry's equalizer, Mr. Phillips.
Oh, Jerry.
I'm not putting up with any of these goings-on another minute. That son of yours has got to go.
Not so fast, Mabel. First, I want to hear what brought this on.
She's sending me back to Grandma's.
You just bet I am.
Jerry's not going to be sent anyplace. He's staying right here.
We better go, fellas.
Yeah. So long, Jerry. Yeah, see you at the clubhouse, Jerry.
Well, I like that. Standing up for that hoodlum son of yours after what he's done.
Mabel, don't you realize? It's not so much Jerry's fault.
Now you're blaming me?
Please. I'm blaming myself just as much. But from now on, Jerry, everybody in my family gets heard. Where are you going?
What can he say? How can he put it into words? That day on the playground, what was it Bud told him? The only way I want that knife is when you find out you don't need it. Jerry and his family weren't the only ones helped that day. All the boys had been affected. And you knew that there was hope in the future.
In class, not so bad. But when school's out and the others go off to enjoy themselves, well, if you're what they call a shy guy, that's when you really feel it. The awful lone people like you, and you find yourself holding a grudge against them. You're standing on the outside looking in. You might have something to contribute to their conversation, but nobody cares whether you do or not. There's a barrier, and you don't know how to begin breaking it down. You imagine they keep watching the way you look, the way you act. They think you're different. So you head for home. What else? But still, you can't forget that you're alone, an outsider.
Hello, Phil. How's everything?
Oh, okay, I guess, Dad.
And how's your record transmitter and microphone coming?
Oh, all right, I guess. I know it isn't either. I can't figure out where to connect in the oscillator. I know I have to connect it into the amplifier, but where? It just doesn't fit in.
Why not call the store and get more information? And by the way, how are things going in school?
Oh, okay, Dad. But school here isn't like it was back in Morristown.
Well, you know, son, maybe school is like your radio. This oscillator will do its work well. But as you said, you still have to fit it in so it can work with all the other parts.
I know what you're driving at, Dad, but I don't think I ever will fit in, not here. I'm different from the guys in this town.
Well, as far as that goes, Phil, everybody's different. That's what makes people interesting.
Maybe.
You know, when we moved here this summer, I had quite a time making friends in a new office where everybody else knew each other.
What'd you do, Dad?
Well, that's beside the point, son. What works for one doesn't necessarily work for another.
But I bet the other men didn't look at your clothes all the time.
Well, what makes you think they look at your clothes?
Oh, because the other fellas wear sweaters or just shirts, not a regular suit like mine.
Well, wear a sweater then. The clothes alone won't... Phil, what about the other fellows? What do they do? What do they like?
Gosh, Dad, I don't know. I never noticed. Only I know it's not radios.
Perhaps that's the reason you don't know. You don't notice what the others are interested in. Why not try to find out?
How, Dad?
Well, you might try watching, listening. Pick out the most popular boys and girls in school and keep an eye on them. Try to figure out why people like them. Not that you'll ever be just like any of them, but you might learn something. Well, see you at dinner.
Well, there's an idea. Maybe a good idea. Worth a try, anyway. And tomorrow's not too soon to start. Pick out the most popular boys and girls in school and keep an eye on them. Who are they now? Some of them are right here in this class. Andy McIntyre, for instance. People like him, all right. Chick Gallagher rates high in popularity, too. There's Jane Davenport. She's popular with boys and girls. And Jack Gilbert. What's he got that makes people like him so much? Andy's got something to say, and Jack's listening. He really seems interested. Come to think of it, Jack's always interested in what people are talking about. Maybe that's why he hits it off so well with everybody. Anyhow, Andy thinks he's a great guy. No, that's too easy. Just listening. But what's this? Sounds like Jane's caught on to the same thing. She's listening. Hearing about Helen's collection of menus. And liking it.
That makes her kingpin with Helen. Maybe there is something in this business of being a good listener. But still, there must be more to getting along with people than just wearing a sweater and listening.
What's the matter, Bob? Handle stuck?
Yeah, I can't get it open.
Oh, here, let me try. Trick to some of these.
There. Gee, thanks a lot, Chick. Now, why didn't you think of that? Chick's always doing things for people. And it pays off in friends.
Boy, that sure is one tough history assignment we have for Friday. Wish I could find some good outside reading material.
I found a swell book that covers everything Miss Carson wants us to know. It's called The Last Days of Monarchism by Henry Darrow. You can get it at the library.
I'm sure glad you told me about it. I'll get it this afternoon. Thanks a lot, Bob.
It's okay, Chick. You dope. You knew about that book. You could have been the guy that helped the guy. Well, get going. Gotta stop by the drugstore. There it is again. Even when you bump into people, they hardly know you're alive. You're alone, Bud. Alone in the crowd. But keep looking around. Try to find out what the score is. Look at Jack and Beezy over there. Girls seem to like them. Why? What's the angle? They do act kind of polite. At least they seat the girls and give their orders to the waiter. They aren't loud like some of the guys. Cherry Coke, chocolate Coke, milkshake, and wallet. Double chocolate wallet. Okay, I got it. Oh, whoa, geez.
Excuse me, please. I've got the orders for my table. Just helping out during rush hour, Bob.
Gee, thanks a lot, Chick. That's swelling.
Okay, Bob. Hey, girl.
There's Chick being helpful again.
I can't quite decide. I don't wear that blue white striped dress, Jake. I love the way it fades.
Hey, don't tell me you two are still talking clothes. Was this a plot to squelch all males present? Oh, Phil, sit down. Make yourself at home. Chick, how are you? Pretty good. Come on, sit down.
Hello, Ray. Okay.
We men need some support to run down this girlish chatter. Hey, you want them all, don't you? Yo, Bob. The topic under discussion is the mixer next Friday night at school. You're going, aren't you?
I don't know, Chick. I haven't got a date yet.
Well, grab yourself a girl and come along. It's not going to be a real party. Just the class getting together for some fun.
I'd like to, Chick. Yeah, I sure would. Yeah, sure would be something to take Mary Lou to the mixer. Wonder if she already has a date.
Well, how's the oscillator coming along?
Hi, Dad. Oh, I haven't quite got it working yet. But, you know that other business we were talking about? Well, I've been following your advice.
How about it? Find out anything?
Yeah, Dad, I think I did. It looks like people who get along best with other people are, well, the people who think about the other guy. They make a point of listening to what others have to say and watching for ways to do things for them, being polite toward them. Do you suppose it's sort of a case of thinking so much about other people that you don't have much time to worry about yourself?
Well, perhaps that's right. Maybe the best way to find out is to try it next chance you get.
You know, Dad, there's a mixer Friday night. I wasn't going to go, but in the drugstore the other day, Chick said I ought to come.
Good idea, Phil.
Well, Dad, there is a girl I'd like to take. Mary Lou Wright. But I'm not sure she'd go with me. Never even talked to her. I'd probably fall all over myself. Besides, she's popular. She's probably got a date by now.
Well, it is pretty late to ask a girl. Why don't you just go stag? You needn't worry about doing anything wrong, Phil. You act all right. Just do and say whatever seems most natural.
Well, Dad, maybe it will be easier after I've had a chance to talk to her at the mixer. You know what? I kind of think this is going to fit in after all. Well, this is it. Sink or swim. Uh-oh, there's Mary Lou. She did come with another guy. Beezy Barnes. What now? They're breaking up the piano game. Look at Beezy, listening first to one boy, then another. It's funny the way people flock around a good listener. But what's this? They're talking about radios. That's right down your alley. They're asking Beezy about penny stock. You know the answer to that one. You could tell him. But she just to butt in. Beezy's still stuck. He really needs help. Help? That's it.
An offer of help. That's welcome anywhere. It's not hard to fit yourself into a conversation. A mention of a similar problem in connection with the record player. They're interested in that record player. They are interested in that shy guy. They know he's alive now. And, strangely enough, he's just discovered that they're alive. Of course they'd like to see the record player. Of course they'll come over. Tomorrow afternoon.
I just have to do a little more soldering and connect the oscillator into the amplifier, and everything will fit in.
Oh, Phil, could you have it ready by next week and bring it over to my house?
I guess so.
Some of the gang's coming over Thursday night, and we could have a lot of fun with it. You will come, won't you?
Well, one shy guy is on his way. Not that his worries are over. He'll still have his moments of doubt, of hesitation, of fear that he might do something wrong. But he can face these problems now because he knows that he's not really different. And while he's discovered only a few of many ways to overcome shyness, he's discovered that it can be done. And that's the main thing, isn't it?
At a nice, friendly party. Watch carefully everything the people at this party do and say. Then ask yourself, would I rate them plus or minus as friends? Ready? Here we go.
Don't take too much. Don't worry about it. Well, there's one thing about your party that's okay, Mary.
Well, what's that, Frank?
At least Eddie isn't here.
What's the matter with Eddie?
Oh, I don't know. I just think he's a drip.
Why, you used to go around with him all the time.
I know, but I don't like him anymore. He's always, you know, yeah. He shows off and talks too much.
Well, of course, Ed isn't perfect, any more than anybody else. But just the same, I think he's tough.
Is loyalty one test of friendship? Would you rate Frank plus or minus on loyalty? And how would you rate Mary? Get the idea, audience? In this film, we play a game to find out what sort of friends we like to have and what kind of friends we want to be. Now, here's another scene. Study it carefully because none of these youngsters will do the right thing or the wrong thing every time. It will be up to you to decide. Ready?
Well, here, let me do it for you, Ethel.
Thanks, Bill.
That's okay. Cupcake? There's a seat over there if you have everything you want.
I certainly do.
Tell me, I haven't seen very much of you lately. What have you been doing?
Oh, well.
That's one way to behave when you're with your friends. Bill appears to be friendly and helpful. His actions are polite. He seems genuinely interested in other people. Now, here's another way to act. Let's compare the two.
Can I help you, Betty?
No, thanks, Joe.
Well, come sit with us, Betty.
Oh, it's all right. I'm going to sit over there.
And that's another way to behave when you're with your friends. Maybe you don't have many friends who eat this way, but you certainly know some who act this way. If Betty were a friend of yours, how would you rate her conduct? Plus or minus? Now do the same for Mary as she comes into the next scene.
I'm not interrupting anything, am I?
Oh, well, we were talking about school.
Oh, but who cares about school? Wait till you hear what I did last week. It's the funniest thing. You'll die when you hear it.
And that's another way to behave when you're with your friends. Is it the right way? If so, or if not, why? You know, many things can make or mar a friendship. How would you react to this next scene?
Is anything the matter, Joe?
More or less.
What is it?
Well, it's kind of a secret.
Oh, you know, you always can trust me.
You won't tell anyone?
Not a soul, promise.
Well, my father's got a new job, and they have to move away, I'm afraid.
Oh, Joe, gosh, I'm sorry.
So am I. But please don't tell anyone because it's not definite yet.
Cross my heart, I won't say a word. No, promise you won't tell a soul, but I just heard the most terrible thing. Joe's father lost his job, and they have to get out of the house right away and move to another town. He haven't got enough to eat anymore, and even worse than that.
That's one way to react when a friend entrusts you with a secret. Is this what you would recommend under similar circumstances? The next scene deals with another vital test of friendship. Dependability. How would you react to these two episodes?
George, I'm afraid I have some bad news for you. You know the day we have tomorrow night?
What about it?
I can't go. My folks want me to go somewhere with them, and I simply can't get out of it.
I'm sorry,
So am I, but it just simply can't be helped. Oh, excuse me. Bill. It's okay, I got rid of him.
Oh, that's swell. How'd you do it?
Oh, it was easy. I just made up a story about having to go somewhere, and he fell for it.
Oh, great.
Now you and I can go out tomorrow and have some real fun.
Sure, come on, let's dance.
You've just seen one possible way of behaving toward a friend. Compare what you saw with the episode that follows.
Remember that date we have for Friday night?
Of course I do, Frank.
Well, come on over. I want to talk to you about it. You see, my parents and I and our whole family got an invitation to go on a trip this weekend. So would you mind too much if I broke our date and went along with them?
Why not at all, Frank?
Thanks. I knew you'd be a pal about it. And we'll have our date a week from Friday, okay?
Absolutely okay. And thanks for telling me about it.
In this picture, we've looked at a few problems of the kind you and your friends run into every day. Remember what those problems of friendship are? They involve loyalty, good manners, and dependability. Let's review them briefly.
Was Frank a good friend in this scene? Or was Mary right when she stuck up for Eddie? Was Bill a real friend at the table with Ethel? Did Betty show a friendly, cooperative spirit at the party? Do you like your friends to do what Mary is doing in this scene? How would you rate Ethel in this test of friendship, plus or minus? How did you feel when Betty broke her date with George? Was Frank a good friend when he postponed his date with Ethel? If you have any problems like those you've just seen, talk them over. Get them settled. Because the only way to have a friend is to be one. And friendship is one of the most precious things in life.
Three Robo Boys and the Roadster. It's our pride and joy. And we made the finals. I say we. The car really belongs to Tom there. But Cliff also had about as much time and sweat in it as anybody. Except me, maybe. I'm Rick Taylor. We all sort of grew up together, and the car grew right along with us. It may not be the greatest, but in its class, it's pretty good. Anyway, we had a lot of fun working on it. We were pretty proud to make the finals. But even though I am sort of the chief mechanic, I have to admit we did it in spite of me, not because of me. I made one small mistake and almost made a really big mistake. I have a hunch this is the day it all began.
Hey, Rick, got a date for the dance Saturday night?
Ah, who needs a date? I'll stag it, take my chances.
Good luck.
Rick, I thought the composition you read today was very funny.
Thank you.
That was even funnier when Miss Lang gave you the lowest mark in the class for it.
You can't win them all. Well, don't just do something. Stand there.
You're a real goof, you know it.
Ah, so I get a goof complex. Coming to the ball game this afternoon?
No, I'll meet you guys at the hut afterward. I gotta see a construction guy about a job after I graduate.
Well, you got a summer job at Ryan's.
Yeah, I know, but now I need more than a summer job. We had a real big powwow last night. Dad and Mom want me to go to college, you know, but we can't afford it this fall. So I decided I'd work for a year, see what happens.
You spend too much time worrying about the future.
Well, who's worrying? I just want to line things up, that's all. Make a little money after I graduate. See if I can save enough maybe to make college in a year.
That's all really fine. really fine. But while you're out living it up like a free man, you'll be stuck here at school another year.
Oh, it's too bad, too bad. But some of us are more grown up than other of us.
It's only a matter of age, but I'll catch up.
Well, come on, Junior. Let's go to class.
Oh, I left my book in the locker.
What was with you, Rick? Hey, let's get some glue on that glove.
Tom, I think the game was wonderful. And that home run you hit, Tom, was just wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
I thought you looked wonderful standing out in left field, Rick.
wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, can we drive you girls anywhere? Besides crazy?
No, thanks. We just came for a meeting of the decoration committee for the dance.
We're late. Come on.
The game really was wonderful.
Why do you think the game was so wonderful? We lost.
You know, Molly was right. You look great standing out in left field. But
all I did was stand, yeah, I know. I let a couple of easy ones get by me.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about things.
Oh, well, that's enough to upset anybody.
I was crazy, but right in the middle of the fourth inning, I began to feel lonesome.
Lonesome?
Well, not in the field. About next year.
Oh, boy, that thinking really is bad for you.
Now, it suddenly hit me that you and Cliff graduate in June. You'll be going to college next year. Cliff will be out in the world working. I'll be alone.
Oh, sure, just you and a whole school full of people.
Yeah, but you know, you guys are...
Yeah, maybe you're right. After Cliff and I graduate, who would have anything to do with you?
See, a man bears his soul, and what does he get? Chopped.
Come on, let's help you drown your sorrows in a wild, double-thick float. I accept your gesture of friendship. What gesture? It's your turn to treat.
I guess you ought to know about this, too. I had a part-time job. This is where I brought the body after school 3 days a week and on Saturdays. I liked it. Kept me in spending money. Pete was a nice guy. He understood cars and the crazy kids who worked on them. Well, take a look at what happened next. The future is where you least expect it. Mine was sitting there quietly right under my nose. You just put this up, Pete?
Yeah, a couple of minutes ago.
Need another man, huh?
Uh-huh. I thought we'd put another man on the day shift. Business is picking up, and I'm not getting any younger, you know. Why? You know someone who might be interested?
Sure. How about me?
You? Well, you know, Rick, with a little concentrated training, you might be okay, but this is a full-time job, and you still have a whole year of school to finish.
Look, Pete, this is just what I want. Well, I've been thinking, school, I can't see where it's done so much for me. And I'm not going to get any more out of another year, except waste some more time.
Yeah, I see.
Well, I'm over 17 and I'm not going to college. So why shouldn't I get out, get started in the world? I'd like to make some money, buy a car. Well, a lot of kids my age have cars. I like cars, I know them. I could be valuable around here.
Rick, let me think about it, huh? I guess you're a candidate, all right.
The best.
Okay. Well, just leave it sit a while and see what goes. Right?
Right. Thanks a lot.
Hello, Rick.
Hi, Mr. Welling.
Fill her up, please.
Right.
Hello, Pete. Hello, Fred. How's the high school favorite instructor?
I don't know about that favorite part, but I'm fine. How's business?
Just great.
Wonderful. Say, must be. You're really spreading out, huh? First thing we know, you'll be opening a whole string of stations.
Yeah, fat chance.
What'll you pay me to take the job, Pete?
Well, Fred, I don't know. Now, you might be a good guidance counselor, but something tells me you're not a very fast man with a tire iron.
You got me, partner.
Well, anyway, you're a bit late. Rick has already asked for the job.
Rick?
Mm-hmm.
You mean full-time?
Yep. I was a bit surprised, too, but I asked him about finishing school, and he says he's had it. He's in a hurry to get out in the world and make some money. Yeah, I guess Rick's getting itchy. He's in a hurry to get moving.
Yeah, I know. I think I'll have a little talk with him about it.
Well, I wish you would. I think it's a good idea. I'll see you later, Pete. Okay. Okay, Rick?
All set, Mr. Welling.
My credit's still good, huh? Oh, thank you, Rick. Hey, what's this about your wanting to go to work for Pete full-time?
That's right, sir.
Well, I'm a little disappointed you didn't come in to see me about it. I like to earn my pay as a guidance counselor.
Well, it just came up today, and... Well, you can't run away from opportunity, can you?
Well, suppose you run into the office and we'll kick it around. You know, dropping out of school's a big decision, Rick. Stop in and see me in a few days, Rick. A high school diploma is a mighty important thing to have later on. Okay?
Hi, Betty. You look real nice.
Rick, flattery will get you everywhere.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Welling.
Oh, Rick, did you get a chance to look at those pamphlets I gave you the other day?
Well, no, sir, not yet.
I know they look like just a lot of words on paper, but a lot of people spend time and effort making those surveys. And it's no joke that a high school graduate earns $50,000 to $60,000 more in his lifetime. But you've got to have that diploma, Rick.
Yeah.
Is it worth messing up your whole lifetime just to run 1 year faster?
I don't know, Mr. Welling. It's just the way I feel.
Rick, I'm concerned about your future. And I'm sure your parents are, too. You should talk this over with them. You know, they're interested in what's buzzing around in that head of yours.
Well, I think you're making a big mistake, Rick.
You're wrong, Pop. Believe me. It's just that I feel, for me, it's the right thing.
Yeah? Well, did Pete say it'd take you on full-time?
We said he'd think about it.
Oh?
Look, Pop, my grades have never been too hot. And, well, I'm not going to college anyway, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
Well, even if we could afford it, I just don't want to go. You know that. Tom and Cliff want to go to college, so they're graduating. I just want to get a job, so I figure, why can't I get started a whole year earlier?
Want a piece of cake, Rick?
No, thanks.
Well, I still think you're wrong. But I don't know. If you're determined, maybe you ought to try looking around a little bit more. I mean, farther than Pete's.
Well, I don't know. Pete's came up and...
Have you thought about the plant?
Gee, no. Maybe that would be a good idea.
Yeah. I could talk to Bill Sawyer.
Would you?
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose I could make an appointment.
Oh, that'd be great. I can use this after all, Mom. Give me the energy to struggle through my homework. Thanks, Dad.
Would you like a piece of cake?
How much interfering can you do, Marge? He's growing up. And if he's made up his mind, the least we can do is give him a hand. See what happens, huh?
Well, that was the $5 tour. How'd you like it?
Oh, great. Terrific.
Think you'd like to go to work here?
Oh, you bet, Mr. Sawyer.
Well, now, let's see. We had planned on putting on some kids for the summer. How'd you like to go to work on June 15th?
Well, I'd like that, but... Well, I don't just want a summer job. I thought...
Well, Rick, you're a pretty smart boy, and I'm sure you'd get along with everybody, but... Well, we couldn't consider you for a permanent job. You see, you haven't got enough experience. You're still pretty young. And that last year of high school math and physics is important. You'd need it if you really wanted to get some good advancement here. I'm sorry you're just not prepared enough. I'd be glad to have you come around again as soon as you finish high school.
Hey, Pete. How about taking down this sign and make up your mind, huh?
Why?
I don't know. I'd just sort of feel better if I knew I had the inside track.
Oh, the old psychology stuff, eh, boy? All right, I'll go along.
Mind if I keep it in my locker for good luck?
No, why not?
Pete, you'll make up your mind real soon, huh?
You bet, Rick. I'll make up my mind real soon.
Welling. I'll have Coke. How's it going, Rick? Any improvements?
Oh, a little, yeah. But I still think she's holding back. Something isn't right when she gets over about 5,000 RPM. I've done about everything I can think of. Maybe I'll check out those plugs again.
Well, from little improvements, big, something or others grow.
That's the most enlightened statement of the month. I thought you'd come out to the strip with us today.
Well, I was downtown talking to an Army recruiting sergeant.
Oh?
Yeah, Dad and I were talking last night. As long as I've got to make the Army someday, well, maybe I better see if I couldn't get it over with right after I graduate. You know, go right in.
Oh, that's a thought, all right.
Mr. Welling put me onto something. You know, a guy can pretty much choose what he wants to do. I mean, what he's interested in.
I mean, you just walk in and ask?
Oh, well, no. I mean, what's that easy? No, the Army's got a new setup. I mean, if you sign up, before being drafted, they give you a bunch of tests. I mean, you choose what you're interested in. Then, if you pass the tests, they send you to a special school. You get trained. And the crazy thing is, you don't have to actually join up until you're assured of a place in school.
Oh, now, wait a minute.
Well, it's something like that, you know. This Sergeant Benson thinks I've got a real good ability in electronics, you know, mechanical stuff. Says he thinks it's a cinch I'll do well on the tests.
Well, how do your mom and dad feel about this?
Well, Dad's having the sergeant out to get the scoop firsthand.
It sounds like a good deal for you, Cliff. Finish the Army and then go on to college?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, come on, General, drink up. Gotta get over to the station and get our little bomb in shape for the semifinals.
Pretty sharp car, huh?
Well, it sure is. That's what I mean. Get a steady job, you're set.
That's Jim Potter. He's a nice boy. I get married next week.
You mean he's getting a new convertible and a wife all at the same time?
Well, it's possible. You have to work hard, though, for both, I guess.
What does he work at?
Jim? He's a radar operator at the airport.
Good job, Uncle.
And so I understand. Pays, $8,000-10,000 a year.
Did he study radar at college?
No, Jim never went to college. I think he learned his basic radar stuff in the Army.
The Army, huh?
You really think the Army's the answer now, Rick, huh?
I think I do, Dad. It sounds like an even better answer. I mean, it's worth looking into, isn't it?
I suppose.
I still hate to see you leaving school.
Mom, this is something I've just got to do. It's right for me. Well, I'm gonna go sooner or later anyway. And in the Army, I can get some schooling, too. I mean, if they won't take me at the plant, at least I can get in the Army, huh?
Well, okay. You go on down and talk to the recruiting sergeant. Find out.
Well, that's about the way it is, Rick. You decide what areas of Army duty interest you, and we give you a test designed to show how well prepared you are to take that kind of training. Like electronics, photographic, clerical. You see what I mean?
Good deal. Well, look, Sarge, I'm just, thinking about it, getting a few ideas.
Sure.
Well, here's the story. See, I plan to leave high school, not finish out next year. And I was thinking of getting a full-time job at the service station. But just suppose, mind you, that I want to take your tests.
Well, in what areas, for instance?
Well, a couple of them, like mechanics, radar.
Well, you picked a couple of pretty good ones, Rick. Sure, I could arrange for you to take the test.
Great.
But you'd be wasting your time.
Huh?
You see, for our best courses, in fact, to get guaranteed schooling in any of our courses, you've got to have a high school diploma.
What?
You see, Rick, you can get fantastic training in the Army, but not without groundwork. Now, the two courses you mentioned, great. Very exciting, rewarding stuff. But you'd have to complete a certain amount of math and science. You just wouldn't be qualified if you didn't finish high school. This isn't kid stuff, Rick. The Army's big league. All the latest developments and way ahead in most of them. And you need a basis for that. You just can't take off from school and jump in wherever you want. You need that high school diploma just as much in the Army as anywhere else. You need it to get the best of everything. You know what I mean?
Boy, she's great. She works. Yeah, Rick, perfect acceleration. Motor never misses. We're in.
Great. But hey, what's with that jumper wire bit?
Jumper wire?
Well, it's like this. You fellas have worked hard on this, Bud. You made the big try, but you just weren't going to have it ready for the semifinal Saturday. So I thought maybe you'd earned a little professional help. Now, Rick worked so fast last night putting in these carburetors that, well, I just thought they needed some looking over. The carburetors are okay, but that wasn't your trouble. I noticed that the coil wire didn't sit right in the distributor cap.
So, give. What's that mean?
It means the primary wire from the coil to the distributor was short. When the engine revs up, the automatic spark advance causes the distributor to rotate.
Right. It increased the distance between the coil and where the wire is attached. It pulled it tight. That meant that the wire tightened and loosened with every change of speed. And at high RPMs, you actually created a poor connection. So I just removed the short wire and replaced it with a temporary jumper wire.
Whammo. Constant and full voltage to the ignition.
Smooth acceleration? No loss of power when she's wide open. Elementary, my dear Watson.
Except for an elementary dope.
Pete, you're a genius.
Yeah. Why don't you check over what we've done? I'll be right back.
Pretty stupid, huh?
No. Just too much in a hurry, maybe.
What's the difference? I guess that's why you've been taking so long to make up your mind about the job, huh?
Well, you could use a little more experience.
So they tell me.
How'd you make out with the Army?
No dice. The old diploma bit.
Yeah. Well, you're not the first kid that's been faced with the decision to drop out of school or not to drop out. It's tough, Rick, not to want to hurry.
Well, I just don't see what I'm going to get out of one more year.
The diploma, to say nothing of the additional schooling. Look, you don't start building a building from the second floor up. You need a foundation, you need a plan. And the same goes for the future. You can't skip a step, Rick.
I don't know. I just don't know.
So, once in a while, you have to make a tough decision, Rick. Sometimes all by yourself. Right now, you've got to make the toughest decision of your life. To say no to yourself.
Yeah.
It's easy to say yes, but to say no, that's the tough one. Well, we all go through it.
You too, Dad? Well, you didn't quit high school.
Make it real simple if I did, wouldn't it? Well, I thought plenty about it. I wanted to get out, grow up in a hurry. I was the hurrying kind too, Rick. In those days, the high school diploma and education was a lot less important.
What made you stay in school?
I don't know. I figured if nobody else cared, there was always going to be one person who would.
Grandma? Grandpa?
No, me. Nobody but me, Rick. My self-respect counted, so I stayed, got my diploma. Sometimes I've wished I'd taken a little more time. Maybe even tried college.
Man wanted? Sure. But maybe it takes a little more time, a little more know-how to find him, huh? I mean, maybe you just can't be in such a hurry. Can't trade a year for a whole lifetime. As I said, it's no big mystery. The something I didn't do was double-check everything. I was in too much of a hurry. And I think you've got to stop and double-check yourself from time to time. We'll make out in the finals. But for my part of it, I think we've got a much better chance now. A much better chance.
beauty of music can deepen and enrich our lives. The singers in a choral group share many values as they match and tune their voices into the blended harmony of creative music. Walter has been discovering these values since he first tried out for chorus at the beginning of the term. He'd never sung with a group before. Bob has been singing for several years, yet he knows there is still much to learn. The chorus gives him a chance to sing often under supervision. Edith needed friends. Joining the chorus helped her find them. And Laurel sings for the sheer joy of music and song. The long hours of practice with Mr. Clark have brought their rewards to every member of the group. They are trained singers now, giving a performance as much a pleasure to see as to hear. Everyone likes to sing.
Larry, 4, 5, 6, Larry, 7, 8, 9, Larry, 10, Larry, the postman.
Swing low, sweet chariot. He's a delicate fellow, for he's a delicate fellow, for he's a delicate fellow.
Yes, everyone likes to sing. Those who joined the chorus found that they had opened the door to the whole world of music, with all its pleasures and responsibilities. They learned that there are basic principles of voice production every singer should know. They began to understand that the voice is truly a marvelous instrument. They learned how it starts in the larynx, or voice box, where the sound is produced by vibration of the vocal folds. Some were surprised to find that the air from the lungs, the same air we use in breathing, causes this vibration. They learned that breathing is controlled mainly with the diaphragm muscle and with the muscles attached to the ribs. They found that the original tone is enriched by resonance, effected in the sinuses, nasal passages, mouth, throat, and chest. They compared the vocal instrument with an orchestral instrument. Like the larynx, the reed vibrates to produce tone, and as in singing, breath causes the vibration. The reed without the body of the instrument lacks resonance. So they found that resonance gives the tone its quality. The same reed on an instrument with a different resonating structure produces a different tone. But Mr. Clark pointed out that one element tremendously important in singing is lacking in the music of orchestral instruments. This is the use of language, which adds the great dimension of poetry to our music. As he worked with each member of his group, Mr. Clark constantly stressed the basic elements of singing. One of the most important is good posture. Sometimes it comes naturally, but Walter had to learn it.
Walter, your tone sounds tight. I'd like to show you this mannequin here. Notice that the dots form a straight line. Now, if you were to back up against a straight wall, as I'm backing this mannequin up against a straight board, you'd notice that the back of your head, your back of your thighs, and your legs would all touch. Bad posture will hurt your tone. It won't look well when you sing before an audience. You must remember that a singer is a performer as well as a vocal instrument. Now let's stand tall. Not tense. Let's let your hands rest at your sides and balance on the balls of your feet.
Laurel had trouble learning to relax while singing.
Laurel, your tone sounds thin and tight. That's because you're holding your jaw tense. Try to relax. Let your jaw drop down. All right, let's try it.
Bob hadn't learned how to control his breathing, and his tone was breathy. Control of breathing depends on good posture and on relaxation. The important thing, Bob found, is to be able to release breath with full control. Singers learn to do this by keeping the chest expanded. They control breathing with the diaphragm and the muscles attached to the lower ribs. Bob used to make the mistake of raising his shoulders, but that doesn't increase breath capacity one bit. He worked hard to correct his breathy tone.
Bob, your tone is breathy. You're pushing the breath past the vocal folds much too fast. You must learn to be more economical with it. You probably feel a lift in your diaphragm or in the area of your diaphragm when you sing. Here's what your tone sounds like. Ah, you're pushing to get it. Now, this is the way it ought to sound. Ah, let's try it.
Edith's main problem was resonance.
There is a lady sweet and kind, was never face so pleased my mind.
All right, Edith.
There is a lady sweet and kind, was never face so pleased my mind.
Edith, your voice sounds thin because it's not resonated properly. It sounds nasal like this. There is a lady sweet and kind. Now, if you can keep open up here and use all your resonators, it'll sound more like this. There is a lady sweet and kind. Would you like to try it again?
Yes, I would.
There is a lady sweet and kind, was never face so pleased my mind. I did but see her passing by, and yet I love her till I die.
And of course, they all worked on good diction, crisp consonants, clear, pure vowels, and projection of tone.
Wait a minute. In the word life, there's a diphthong. Just now you sang life when it should have been life. We worked on that yesterday, remember? Make the E that ends the I short. All right? Let's try it.
Day in and day out, they worked with Mr. Clark on the elements of singing: posture and breathing, relaxation, resonance, and clarity of diction. The climax of the year's work is their spring concert, when they share with others their joy in singing. Yet the concert is only a beginning, for they are weaving the wondrous thread of music into the very fabric of their lives.